We finally arrived at Noah's flood. Everything we have done so far is to prepare us for what we're going to look at now. Noah's flood is the biggest, most horrific event that we've seen in the Old Testament, and that is global genocide. And it's called the wrath of God. What we are going to do now is we're going to travel back in time, 3,500 years. The flood story was written by an Israelite named Moses, 3,005 years ago. It was written for an ancient people called Israel, 3,500 years ago. When they read the Genesis account, did they really think that God directly, actively sent a flood and wiped everyone out? No. We're going to bring everything we have said so far together and add some more pieces of the Israelite ancient world view. We have to read the flood like the original writer meant to be understood and the way Israel understood it. If we don't, we're going to destroy what this story is really saying. So this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say throughout this whole series. Moses wrote up the story of the flood in his first of 5 books. The first 5 books are called the Law, the Torah, the Pentateuch. Moses wrote them all. What did he mean by the wrath of God when he wrote up the story of the flood? He tells us exactly what he means by the wrath of God in the 5th of his 5 books. And he says, this is what the wrath of God means, and it means nothing else. If we do not apply Moses' own definition of the wrath of God back to a story that he gave us an example of the wrath of God, if we don't read it the way he understood wrath, we are going to completely misrepresent and twist what he's trying to say. And sadly, this is what the Christian church has done over the last 1,500 years. It has brought its own understanding of wrath of God that's not biblical into the flood and ignore what Moses clearly said. So let's have a look again at Moses' definition of the wrath of God in the 5th of his 5 books, the book of Deuteronomy. Then we're going to put on those glasses and read the flood, because that's how he wanted it to be understood. Deuteronomy 31, 16 and 17. We've been through this a number of times, but now we're going to apply it directly to Noah's flood. Deuteronomy 31, 16 to 17 in the English Standard Version says this. And the Lord said to Moses, behold, you are about to lie down with your fathers. You're going to die. Then this people will rise and whore after the foreign gods among them in the land they are entering, and they will forsake me and break my covenant that I made with them. Then, when they turn to other gods, we don't want you anymore. Then my anger will be kindled against them in that day, in the day that the world rejects God, his people or not his people, he will reveal his wrath. And it says it will be kindled. This is the wrath of God, and it looks like God is the direct active agent of destruction that's going to come. But that's not what Moses says. Then my anger will be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them. That's not attacking. That's pulling back. Then I will forsake them in my anger and hide my face from them. That's how God kindles his anger, folks. He hides, he withdraws, and they will be devoured. When will they be devoured? When God pulls back, external forces will come and smash you. That's Moses' definition, coming from God himself, on how divine wrath works. It's not divine assault, attack, and violence. It is withdrawal, divine withdrawal of divine protective presence, and then destruction comes. Makes sense. Now, this is his definition of wrath. We have no right to apply any other definition than what Moses gave us here to the flood. The flood is an example of the wrath of God, the biggest one in the Bible, and Moses said this is how wrath works. He's given us a definition. What right do we have to read the flood in a different way to what Moses wanted us to read it? It's terrible. The Christian church has made God a global genocidal maniac. When God shows his wrath because people tell him get lost, God pulls back and then destruction comes. We have to read the flood the way Moses wanted it read and understood. And yes, I am passionate about this because the Christian church has painted our God to be a genocidal global maniac. And he's not like that at all. And Jesus will also say something about the flood, and we will get to that. So let's bring this definition now back to the flood next time.